Yeah, they call it the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, which is misleading to say at best. I'm sure it should be flagged by Facebook or social media companies as misleading information and false information, because really what Joe Manchin has figured out, and I guess in his retirement tour or maybe early retirement tour, is, a tax hike on Americans, including, by the way, it's not the $400,000 or more, it's $200,000 or more. But what we wanted to focus on was that because they keep trying every time, whether it's Build Back Better, whatever they want to call it, Inflation Reduction Act, and there's a huge bailout for the IRS, doubles the size of the IRS, okay? And most of that money, at least half, is going to enforcement, and they're targeting middle-class Americans so that they can pay for so that the federal government has more money to pay for things like the Green New Deal, which is also in this, what they call Inflation Reduction Act. Let's say it's a great time during an economic or recession or whatever you want to call right now. Let's go after more Americans with audits.
Here now, instead of modernizing the equipment that you need to have in order to deal with the proper collection of revenue, you're earmarking $45.6 billion to litigate, criminally investigate, investigative technology, everything investigative, by the way, remember that, digital asset monitoring, and they're going to give them a bunch of new cars so they can go out and get the money from you and load it up in the trunk of the car. I guess that's what the purpose of that is, why they're giving them cars. But the thing that you mentioned, Jordan, 78 to 90%, think about that, of the money that they're planning to raise from underreported income is going to come from those making less than $200,000 a year. Only 4 to 9% is going to come from those making $500,000 or more. So what they are targeting here is you, the middle-class taxpayer, the person who's got a subchapter S business that is out there working day by day trying to make a living. Not that they need more money. Their tax receipts were up 25% in the first 9 months of fiscal 22 after rising 18% in fiscal 21. So tax receipts are up. Where you need the money for? Well, I'll tell you why. You're not starving for revenue, but you can't control your appetite for spending. You want money, you want to spend. It's like the Democrats. They've never seen a tax they didn't love. That's why the agency is gone, Jordan, into its beast mode.
I mean, just today, a congressman from California's 2nd District, who's a Democrat, Jared Huffman, says that he, along with 38 other Democrats, have asked the IRS commissioner to review the tax-exempt status of the Family Research Council. I mean, like I just told you, this just came out yesterday. This is what we are constantly having to monitor at the ACLJ. And listen, the FRC is big. They're going to be able to handle it. But it's the individual Americans. It's the smaller grassroots organizations. And it's the idea that Democrats have no problem, still to this day, telling the IRS to do politically motivated investigations. They didn't say, look at all organizations, both on the left and the right. They said, look at this one specifically.